that back, you have to pay the interest on it. And with a credit card, it's 18%. So if you're racking up that credit card now to the max, and let's say you're only paying like minimum payments, it's gonna take you like a long time to pay that off.
Yeah.
Right? So what you wanna do is you wanna use 70-30 rule. Right? So you only wanna use 30% of that credit card.
Okay.
Keep the 70 open, right?
Yeah.
That's on your credit as well. If you look at, Borrowwell or something like that, anything where you could use your credit, and it shows you monthly, if your credit utilization is above 30%, because that affects your credit. If it's above 30%, it just shows that like you're using money here and you're using it here, and they don't really want you to be using that much of their money, right? If you can pay it back in a timely fashion, like you want to use all of it for that month, okay, but you know, in that month, pay it all back. You know what I mean? So you want to keep it about under 30%. So if you have a credit card that's $1,000, just know that you're only going to use $300 of that credit card.
And then pay it off right away if possible.
If possible, pay it off, right?
Yeah.
Don't just think of the minimum, because at the end of the day, you can use that to help build your credit, right? And then if you pay it off within that month, then you're not having to really pay the interest on it, which is like a high interest rate of 18%, like usually for a credit card. So that's a lot, right? So if you rack that up and you're like to $1,000, now you're paying $1,000 plus 18% on that, right?
Yeah.
And that's not how the credit card is designed. That's not how you're really supposed to use it. But this kind of takes advantage of people because they're not shown how to use it. They're just given it.
Yeah. There's not a lot of instruction behind it, right?
Exactly. But if you know these type of tips, you can use that to your advantage and build up your credit. Yeah. And show the credit people that I know I can borrow this amount of money and I can also pay it back. And it shows you that your intentions with using that money, you're good with it, and you're able to be mature enough to borrow a certain amount and pay it back.
So let's talk about this. So in North America, obviously you experienced a bit in England where players are playing football and then also working a job on the side. So the reality of football here as well, whether it's CPL, even at USL in the States, a lot of guys have jobs on the side, whatever, to supplement their income. So what would you say to people that are doing jobs on the side and like that's another way to kind of maybe save one income and you're pocketing the other, but would you have any tips for someone who is working and pursuing football at the same time?
Yeah, if you're working, so you could just look at it because you're getting paid in two pockets now, right? So you're getting paid with your football and you're getting paid with your job working. So you kind of want to look at it this way. Okay, maybe I'm working here, so I'm going to use my job, the amount that I'm getting paid from that, I'm going to use that as my bills, like phone bills. I don't know if you have a car insurance, or maybe you have to pay rent for your rent. So take that and use that towards that. Now then, with the money that you're getting paid from football, you can use that into savings, and you can put that away. You could get like a TFSA and start to build like a 3 to 6 months, whatever your income is for 3 to 6 months, try and build that as a safety net.
Okay.
Right? So that's like
to have in your savings.
A 3 to 6 months savings, just in case anything can happen, right? You never know. Whatever, you could lose your job, you can, stop playing for whatever reason, but you know that you have 3 to 6 months worth of income where you now that can help you until you find your next venture, like whether it's another team or another job, whatever it is. But also, because you're young, you have to think of life insurance as well. And most people just think like, I don't want to buy a life insurance policy.
No one wants to hear at a young age, right?
Even like, I don't have any kids, so I don't need to leave any money for anybody, right? But eventually you might want kids, you might want a family, you might want to leave something for somebody. But when you're young and healthy, that's the best time to get it because it's cheaper, right? The older you get, the more expensive it is. The more health issues you get, you might not be qualified even. Like you, for instance, anything can happen to you. We're not invincible. Look at our stepdad, Mark, He was probably one of the healthiest guys we knew. Yeah,
gym every day,
strict diet. Like when he was eating his food, he was strict every
Proper
day.
diet, discipline as well.
Very disciplined. He didn't really drink. I don't remember really seeing him drink if he did. Like, it wasn't a lot. so didn't smoke or anything like that, very healthy, and he ended up getting brain cancer. He remember he got it once, then he ended up beating it. You know, he's healthy for a little bit, and then it came back, and you know, he ended up taking him. But if he had got life insurance before that, you know, or even a critical illness, right? Critical illness, there's about 26 illnesses in there that you can get, and cancer is one of them. If you have a life-threatening cancer, you get a lump sum of money. Now that can help you either if you need to get proper care for it, you can go travel to, let's say, the States or a different country that can help pay for that treatment.
What about your family? Like, is there like someone there that's going to be able to help your family? Like, should the worst case scenario happen, you know, they can help your family on the back end if you're no longer there to support them?
Well, that's with life insurance as well. If let's say you're unable to support them and you pass away, then that life insurance policy now, as your beneficiary, will go down to them, right? Tax free as well, with no bypass probate. So like, you know, you don't have to worry about going through the courts or going through the estate to get that money. As soon as you pass away, that's yours tax free. Now, saying that, if you get a life insurance, like let's say a whole life insurance or a universal life insurance, you can use that to your advantage. The universal life has like an investment portion in there as well. So you can put a portion of the premium towards the insurance and another portion towards the investment part, right? So now, here it is. You have let's say you have an insurance policy and the face amount is $500,000, right? So that's your face amount. You pass away, your family, your beneficiary, they're gonna get that $500,000, right? The investment part adds on to that.
Okay.
So with that investment portion, like over time too, you know, let's say you get it and you're 25 and nothing happens to you until you're like 85, you have all those years for that investment portion to grow and to accumulate and to have compound interest. Now, like I said, when you do it as you're younger, it gives you that time for it to grow, right? So now your investment portion, it goes on top of your face amount.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to put a little bit more money monthly, or just like, you know, sometimes you might have an extra bit of cash or whatever, you know, I could just throw that on to into the investment part. That will also help it grow. And now you can take advantage of that. And let's say after football you're finished and you accumulated let's say $100,000 or maybe a bit more into that investment portion. Now you can take that out as a loan, use it as collateral to the bank, right? So you're gonna bring that your insurance policy and use that as collateral, and you can take that money out and use it for your business or use it to maybe buy a house or something like that, right?
Okay.
It's your choice if you want to have to pay that back, but at the end of the day,
what do you mean you might not have to pay it back?
Because you're using it as collateral and it's already in there from your investment part, right? So the investment portion, it's still in there building as well. So you might even take it out, but you might even have time for it to grow back in there.
Okay. Could you explain collateral? So that means could you just explain that?
Yeah, so basically you're gonna borrow a loan from the bank, right? But you can't just walk in there and borrow $100,000 or whatever, right? With like not show anything. But now you can use your life insurance policy as collateral, so the bank sees that. So if anything happens, they're gonna take it from there, right?
And then allows you to get that.
And allows you
money
to get that
need.
and to use it. People use these strategies all the time to build money and to, you know, as well, because it's in your insurance.
Yeah.
It's tax free, so it's another vehicle to use to pay less in taxes. You know, you're gonna have to pay it eventually, but with the life insurance, not. So that's a different way where people can use that to their advantage and pay less taxes.
So there's a lot of different strategies you can, and these are things that like a lot of people don't know, to be honest. You know, like I didn't know a lot of those, so that's really important information. So tying it back to football, obviously you didn't know at the time you were in England or whenever you were playing that you were gonna come back and be a financial advisor. So can you speak a bit about keeping one eye on the future a bit while playing?
Well, you know what, honestly, I wish I did that while I was playing, because I came back and, you know, struggled for a little bit because things were different. I wasn't, you know, training every day and playing. Now I gotta go to work 9 to 5, and at first when I came back, I was just doing factory work, right?
Yeah.
I didn't set myself up. I wasn't thinking of the future. And this is why I think it's important, because it took me a little bit of time to find out what my niche is, what I want to do,
What
right?
you wanted to do, yeah.
Then I went back to school and got my license, and now I have the knowledge which I can pass on to other people that were in my position at that time, you know? Whether you're in a sport or not, it's always good to think of your future and plan for your future, because you never know what can happen tomorrow or today, you know? Like, even as if like getting a disability insurance, you know, things can happen at any time. My one of my managing partners, Carlton, just the other day we were talking with a client about disability insurance, you know, because we could say anything can happen at any time. He ended up rupturing. This was like Friday or Thursday when we were talking to the client. Saturday, sorry, we had an awards show. He picked up an award, and we were dancing away in the night. Saturday night afterwards, celebrating. Sunday comes, you know, he goes to play football with his team. I go to play with mine. He calls me afterwards. He's asking me all these questions, thinking about his leg, because long story short, he ruptured his Achilles.
No.
Just like that.
Ugh.
One day you're on
That's
top
a bad
of the world.
injury, you know.
Yeah, it is, right? And the next day you're, you know, so you never know what can happen. But the thing is, you have to plan. And the thing that people don't always do is, you know, they think they're invincible, and they think, you know, oh, that's not gonna happen to me. I don't want to, you know, buy that insurance. And the thing that I try to do is, like, it's difficult for some insurance advisors, because what they do, they have that label on them. People just think, oh, you're just trying to take my money, you're just trying to make money. But no, my company, for me to sit down and to educate you, to help you understand the plan, to help you understand the need for, you know, critical illness or disability or a whole life policy or a universal life policy, understand all those aspects. And I show you different strategies in terms of, you might need help with, you might be in certain debt. I have, you know, different partners where we can help you with certain debt as well. So when I put these plans in place, for me to sit down with you and talk about it with you and kind of educate you, because that's my purpose, to educate you, that's free of charge. Like, I'm not looking for any money off of you to do that.
Yeah.
Even when you do eventually get a policy, you think, you know what, I want to get a policy on my life, I want to set myself up, you're still not paying me. My company pays me. And they pay us very well, because what we have to do and what we're putting out there to the community and to our clients, right?
Yeah.
So people, I think they have that fear that, oh, you know, you're just trying to get my money. But I'm not going to offer you something until you understand the value of it. And, you know, that's my purpose. Sometimes, you know, your insurance might be a different price. It might be more expensive from yours to somebody else's, because why? Everybody else is different. You have different health issues. That person might smoke, so their rate will go up, you know? They might have a certain health issue that might cause them to get rated, so it might go up a little bit. So everybody's price is different. But people have to think that price is only an objective in the absence of value. So that's meaning that
that's
if I show you the value, right, price shouldn't be an option, because you're seeing the value of what I've just explained to you.
And so the value is the most important thing. Like, you get the best, you know, what's good for your future and what's good for your situation.
Exactly.
So can you speak a bit about just understanding your expenses and your income as a footballer, or anyone? This is important for anyone, but specifically in football, because like in football, there's a lot of things that's covered in your career. Like, sometimes housing, sometimes you have your meals covered, you know, breakfast, lunch, whatever. It just depends. You get bonuses as well. So can you just speak on understanding, first of all, what you are bringing in from bonuses, everything, what your possible income is, and then understanding what your expenses are and how to make that work for you in terms of saving and planning for the future?
So, you know, you could also get like a budget template. So you get that budget template, so you can actually see how much money is coming in, where it's coming from. You can see everything. You could have the whole lump sum right there, okay? So, you know, monthly, I have this amount, X amount of money.
Yeah.
Then it also shows you what bills you have to pay, whether it's car insurance, I don't know if you have to pay for housing or what, but your phone bill, credit card payments, anything. You put all your payments down there, monthly payments, whatever it is, and then you can see how much you have to pay, how much is going out, and how much you're actually saving. So then when you actually physically, and I think this is important to do, especially when you're younger and you're in football, because you can put yourself in a better situation later on.
Of course.
You can see exactly how much is going out, how much you have to play with and save. And you know what? Now you're thinking, okay, I have this much to save. I can put my money towards this and help my money work for me.
In
right?
another way.
In another way, right?
Yeah.
You might want to say, okay, this is how much I want to have to, you know, buy something I like. I might buy a shoe or, you know, a shirt or whatever, clothing, whatever it is. But if you break it down and you can see what you're going to use it towards, then that's a lot easier. And then you can actually save your money and be more comfortable with it. Because a lot of people sometimes, they don't know and they just fly by and they just spend it, they're not knowing how much they're making and how much they're actually spending. Sometimes we spend too much than we're actually making because we have credit cards and different things to use, right?
And then you're not making anything.
Right? And then you're just putting yourself in debt overall. But like, you know, if you take X amount of money and put in savings and you allow it to, you invest it in something, whether it's in a life insurance policy or you invest it in a different vehicle where you don't have to pay as much taxes, because you have that time. Know that when you're investing it too, you have to know your goals. So you have to know, okay, is this a 5-year goal? Is this your 10-year goal? And why is that important? Because then you know what sort of aspect and what vehicle you can invest it in, and then you can know, I have this amount of time for it to, so if the market does go down, like right now, everything's kind of down right now, right? It can deal with that, because obviously the market goes up and down, but in the end, if you have, like, time is your best friend with investing, and it will go on top in the end, right? If you know those goals and you understand that, that you're not like trying to invest like X amount of money in like a year or two and you're expecting like a big turnaround, because that's not really responsible. It's kind of more of a gamble. Like if you have like extra money, that's like play money. If you want to do that, because if you lose it, you have to know if you lose it, it's not going to hurt you. Right? People are attached to their money. So you have to know what you want to do with it. And you know, the more time you have, the more compound interest you'll get. And the compound interest with time is, it's unbelievable, right? Especially when you're young. If me and you have $2,000 that we're putting away every year into like RSP, and let's say you start 8 years before me, right? Just because the timing that we started, and let's say we're both the same age, and you started 8 years before me, and now we reach retirement and it's 65, like you're gonna have well over $2 million, right? Where I might have like $1.5 million or something like that.
Just based on me starting.
Just because
earlier.
You started earlier, and that's the compound interest effect came into play. There, right? Compound interest and time are your best friends. So that's what I'm saying. When you're younger, you can put these plans into place, and you can start. You don't even have to put as much money as you would do if you were like in your late 30s or 40s, because now you're trying to catch up for that time, right? But you can't really do that. The only way you can do that is put a lot more money in there, but you might not have that, right? So
the time
that's
is
why
better.
When you're younger and you don't have as much bills, you can put it to something, help you out, and help your money grow for itself, and then you'll reap the benefits later on. But it's things to think about.
So this is really important because, well, like footballers, obviously Premier League footballers, European footballers, they're making significantly more than, let's say, North American footballers at the moment, just because where football is, at that time. So it's important because even players at that level are investing. You look at Mathieu Flamini and how he's invested smartly, and now is a billionaire. So like you look at things like that. But even though we're on a smaller scale in North America, it's still important. It's important to start early, like you said, when we have the time, and especially when we're getting, as a professional footballer here, like we talked about, there's a lot of things you're getting paid for, a lot of expenses covered. So you should use that spare money that you should have to put away to things like you spoke about, the investments, life insurance policies, and whatever works for you. So it's important for both aspects. Of course, Premier League ballers and that, they have a higher luxury lifestyle. They live a different lifestyle. But it's important to, maintain your own lifestyle and kind of understand where you are, right? Like, you can't get caught up in the lifestyle that's not your situation.
That's not your, yeah, exactly.
So
living outside your means, right?
Yeah, you can't do that, man, because that's how you get into problems. You struggle a little bit, so that's important. So I'm gonna give you a chance, though, John, because you haven't had a chance to do this in a while, in a long time, man. I'm gonna give you a chance to talk that talk because look, you're a Gooner. Yeah, Arsenal is top of the table. You haven't had a chance in a long time for you guys to be confident in what's going on. So
that's it.
Listen, Arteta's up, Arsenal's up. Talk to me, man. What's going on? What are you saying?
I'm just loving life right now being an Arsenal supporter. It's been a long time. We've had to take a lot of trash talking and, Arteta has came and he's changed the philosophy. He's changed people's minds. He's changed people's hearts in terms of, supporting the club again and just getting back to our strength and being on top again. And it's I love it so much, I like the banter as well. But sometimes, I don't need to always do that. I just let them do the
football talk.
Football do it, the talk, Once in a while, I might give somebody a little shout out, a little call, a little reminder, just whatever. But, it's all fun and games. But right now, it's amazing, And Arteta has a saying that, trust the process. And it's what he's developed and what he's done is right. And you can take that into everywhere else. Whatever team you support, whether you even like soccer, whatever it is, trust the process. Take that into your life. You want to plan for your future, trust the process all the way and believe it. You have a goal, a 10-year goal, 5-year goal, whatever it is, do not shy away from it or stray away from what you set. Trust your process because in the end, when you get there, it's gonna be amazing. You're gonna reap the benefits, right? Yeah. And that's what Arsenal's doing right now. We're reaping the benefits.
At least at the halfway point. We're not done yet.
We're not done yet.
But look,
we don't want to, exactly.
It's a long season, but nah, man. It's good to watch them. It's good to watch their growth as a team.
Yeah, it is.
And like you said, that kind of mentality of the process, trusting the process, can be applied to anything, man. So, look, we went over a lot of important things today. John, where can the people reach you? Because you provide a lot of gems and good information. So where can they reach you?
You can reach me. My number is 519-504-7923. You can call me. You can text me. You can email me at jonathan.henry-hayden@eauclairpartners.com. Maybe we'll put that in the script on writing. And my Instagram is jonathan.h_h84. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, anything you can reach me. Any questions that you have, don't be shy. I can try to answer anything and try and help you out and have you thinking differently financially and, just thinking about the future.
Yeah, and this is big, man. Of course, this is information that applies to not just footballers, not just athletes, it's everyone. This financial information about investing and stuff. But on this platform, we're really trying to help our community of footballers who, in my opinion, just like in the past, were maybe lacking information. So doing our best to provide any information we can, educate, and just put it out there. So any last things you want to touch on before we tap out?
Just trust the process, love life, live each day to your fullest, and, think about tomorrow as well. And think about generational wealth. It's just not about you. It's about your kids and your kids' kids and their kids' kids, right? So you can, just by you doing these plans and being able to teach your kids financial literacy will put them in a better situation and they can keep passing on the knowledge, right?
That's it, man. So you heard it here. Jon Henry-Hayden. This is Unlocked.